Okay. Thank you. Good to see everybody. Good to have you here. Did he say I was 34 years old? That's pretty good, isn't it? Not bad. That's one of the nicest things anybody said to me in a long, long time. But it is a real treat to be here with you. I apologize. I got a little bit of a cough. But I do have special made Carson-Newman football English mountain water with me, so that's good. What I want to do, just to get us started here, is introduce you to our two coordinators and let them do some personnel stuff with you and answer any questions that you might have, offense and defense-wise. But before I start, I want to tell you how excited I am about the coaching staff that we've got. We have got an unbelievable mixture of old and young, an unbelievable mixture of some guys that are going to really be all-stars in this profession, and some kids that are giving great effort right now in being great coaches. We just got an all-star group. When I get sometimes start thinking about some of the things we're not getting done, I start thinking about some of the things we are getting done, and one of them is that we're developing an unbelievable coaching staff, and we're just really excited about these guys. And I would line them up against anybody, and especially our two coordinators. And I want to mention to you, Coach Mike Clowney is going to come up first. And of course, Coach Clowney was a great player here. Has been a very successful coach in other places, and we finally got him tied down to be here with us, I hope, for a long time. He's a great innovator. He's a great X's and O's guy. And nowadays, with everybody doing all the stuff they're doing offensively, it's one of the toughest things in the world for a defensive coach to be able to make those real quick adjustments that have to be made. And so he's going to come and talk to you, and then excuse me, man, I apologize, keep coughing. And then we got Coach Mike Turner, our offensive coordinator. We've been together. Mike, how long we been together as a player and coach and all that? I coached Mike back in 1902. That was when I was 12. That's when you was 12, okay. And but Mike was our, starting center here, and when we played for the national championship first time, 1972. And I was the offensive coordinator, and one of my jobs every week was to get him mad so he'd block who he had to block. And he really has. I think we led the nation in all divisions in scoring last year, rush scoring, and I think we led all the divisions in rushing per game except one. And and they beat us out the last week, I think. So anyway, he's a great motivator of people. Both of them are, and both of them do a great job. Mike Clowney, how long you been as a player? I've coached you. How long you been with me with all the years, graduate assistant and all that? How many? 10? 10 years. And I was going to say, it's been longer than 10. You're trying to act young. So anyway, as a 34-year-old, I'm anxious to introduce to you Coach Mike Clowney. And come on, Mike, and share with them. And again, good to have all of you here today. Thank you for coming.
All right, Coach Clowney.
Good afternoon.
Open up about your defense.
All right. I think right now we've got a great group of young men, and that's doing a great job right now for us. It's just kind of working hard and giving us a good effort, kind of trying to do everything we ask them to do. We come into the camp this year. It's really a new experience for all of us. Coming into camp probably about a week and a half later than most people. So, and just kind of being able to go out and present that challenge to them of the challenge of, man, we don't have a whole lot of time, and we still have to be able to get the same amount of things accomplished that we would if we had 2 weeks. So we started out early, just kind of present that challenge to them, making sure they understood where we at, how important time was, how important it was for them to be efficient, to be alert. And, for the most part, they've done a great job as far as accepting that challenge, coming in, being open, willing to learn, willing to work, willing to develop themselves, and to be the type football team we want to have.
Questions for Coach?
Yeah, your corners, obviously, you had a lot of turnover at that position. I'm sure this is a tentative depth chart. I see a lot of orders on here. But talk about these guys, especially a freshman that obviously has worked his way up there.
We've got a couple guys there that's come in that's done a good job for us. One guy, Ian Jacob, is a transfer from, he's actually from Louisiana. He's done a good job. He's come in and worked. Was able to come in a little bit this summer and work some of the guys, and he's done a great job of kind of developing himself, fitting in with the team. Jerry McGleese is a freshman that we feel like's got a lot of promise. He's down down in Florida. Jerry come in and just kind of he's a quick learner. Not a lot of times you get freshmen that come in that kind of understand all of the concepts that you teach him. When we recruited him, that was one of the things we liked about him was he was in a system that was similar to ours. So he's done a great job as far as working to do the things that we need him to do. We got a couple of older guys that are still here that's working and competing. Jared East Brown's a senior for us that did a good job. Jared's a guy that's capable of playing, I'd say anywhere in the secondary. Anthony Baskins is a guy that's a senior this year that's been here 2 years that we expect a lot of things from. He was able to come in and kind of got started for us last year and got hurt, so he had to sit the year out. So we get, Anthony back. So we've got some guys there that's got some playing experience, and we've got some guys there that we're still working to develop. But it's been interesting, and it's been a lot of fun just kind of watching those guys accept the challenge.
Defensive tackle, not as much as a surprise that you would need to work on, get a new starter, at least one out of that. Talk about the new tackle.
We come out of last year thinking, one of the major things we needed to do is kind of develop ourselves up front defensively. We were able to bring in at least 2 new tackles with Taylor Bible and David Way, and those guys have done a good job. They're both big bodies. That's given us a good effort. David right now, he had a great day yesterday as far as coming out and just kind of attacking the day. David's a guy that just basically whatever we ask him to do right now, he's been willing to do, and I think he's going to wind up being a good football player for us. Taylor has been kind of nicked up in and out, so we're still, in that groove of trying to find out exactly where he's at and how he fits. And Michael Sergibali is a senior that played a lot for us last year. Right now he's kind of the guy that's leading the way for us. Jamar Neal's done a good job. He's a senior. He's a player committee guy. He's a leader. He's probably the head of that group that's kind of helped us kind of point the direction, and then just making sure that, the other guys are kind of on page, learning and moving and just kind of progressing their way through, the things that it's going to take for us to kind of – big deal for that unit is going to be how well they gel together, because we'll roll those guys in and out of the game a lot. So we want to make sure that we got a good solid 2 deep, and I think Jamar and some of the older guys, Will Alderman, they've done a good job as far as helping those young guys learn to where we can move forward. Not just late in the season, but from the very beginning.
This season looks like probably the most continuity you've ever had at linebacker. As far as guys that have played, significant snaps, started lots of games. Some guys, for instance, they were freshmen. Talk with this group a little bit.
At linebacker, we've got 4 guys that has played a lot of games for us. And Greg Beauty, Jarrell Emanuel, John Seitz, and Jacob Coleman. Jacob has been a 2-year starter for us, got hurt last year. If you had to pick a leader out of that group, it would be Jacob Coleman. Jacob, has done a great job as far as developing himself. The big thing with Jacob when he come in, he was a strong safety. That was kind of, a little bit awkward at safety, probably not big enough to be a linebacker. But he's done a great job as far as, working on, becoming what we call a Carson-Newman football player. He come in and just kind of, at first, I think, struggled kind of buying into the program, but he stuck it out. He kind of kept his ears open, he kept listening, he kept working, and now he's a guy that, I looked at the media guide to see his picture on the front of the media guide. Like, that's a big accomplishment, not just for Jacob, but for the program and for this college, when you can see guys come in and basically work to develop themselves and to be in what we ask them to be. Greg Beauty and John Sykes have been consistent, and they've basically last 2 years kind of competed for position back and forth. When Jacob got hurt, John did a good job as far as stepping in and playing for us last year. John's I guess a 3-year starter. He started every year that he's been here, most of the games that we've played. So right now, we feel good in a situation to where, John's, I'd say, the 1.5, and could easily be the 1 tomorrow, just kind of based on how things play out. But those guys, the thing I respect about them most is their willingness to work together. They don't care who's where, they're just there to get the job done. A local guy that's really, worked to come along is Eric Kane. Eric Kane's done a really good job as far as, coming in, doing the right things, working, learning. He's constantly asking questions and trying to figure out, hey, Coach, what do I have to do to get this done exactly the way it needs to be done? So we're excited about our linebacker core.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about the personality of this defense, what you hope to see?
The big thing we talk to our guys about is attacking. We want to be an attacking defense, be it an all-out blitz or base defense. We want to be the ones that get off the ball first. We want to attack at every level. Up front, we ask those guys right now, ball snap, you get off the football, you get into the pad, you change the line of scrimmage, and we're going to ask the linebackers to just play downhill as fast as they can behind them. And then the safeties and corners, based on what we're in, we just want them to do a good job of working and kind of cleaning it up. So, for us, hopefully when you go out on the field, regardless of what we're doing scheme-wise, our guys will be on the attack.
With the addition of what you have on the defensive line, new guys this year, do you feel more comfortable taking a few more chances?
Yeah, and I think, as far as us taking chances, I think we will feel more comfortable taking them. The thing you hope with having new guys up front is you don't have to take as many. If you do a good job and you can get those 4 guys up front and they get a pass rush and you don't have that pressure and you can leave guys in coverage, then that's a good thing, But hopefully, we'll be able to kind of work and get to that point. I think the big thing defensively that we have to look at is each individual. We'll work through and look at each individual and how those individuals fit into our puzzle to where we can decide, exactly who are we going to be. And I think that's where we're at right now. Just kind of look and get a feel for, these guys and how they fit together regardless of what they did last year or 2 years ago. Then you just kind of figure out exactly what's going to be, what's going to make this group tick to give us a chance to get to where we want to go to.